Okay guys, today we are going to begin with Objective 4, which is graphing inequalities. By now you have already done your vocabulary. You've done Objective 1, which is expressions and distributive property. You should have done Objective 2, which is solving equations, and then Objective 3, which was solving inequalities. And now we are at Objective 4, which is graphing inequalities. So we are going to begin with that. So at the top of your paper, you can just write graphing inequalities. Now you have seen this already before in your project time, but we're going to go into further detail and a little bit more, a couple more examples to help you out hopefully this time. And being you do know it a little bit, this should help you understand it better. So we're going to review our symbols. It's very important that we know what symbols we're dealing with. Okay, so we have this symbol here and this symbol, which is less than, and then this symbol is greater than. And when we're dealing with these two symbols, we always have an open circle. And with the open circle, this does not include the number. Okay, so in other words, if it's x is greater than 3, it's everything greater than 3. 3 is not included. So this does not include the number. So the number is not included with this, with an open circle. Now, you also have this symbol and this symbol, which is less than or equal to and greater than or equal. And when dealing with these two symbols, we are going to have a closed circle and the number is included. For example, if it is x is less than or equal to 3, it would include all numbers 3 and below. Okay, so move on down. We are going to solve first, which you know how to do now, and then graph. So our first equation, or our first inequality, I'm sorry, is x minus 6 is less than 5. Well, you know, working with equations and inequalities, especially when solving, we always do the inverse of the number that is with the x. So in this case, it would be minus 6. The inverse of minus 6 is plus 6. And what you do to one side, you have to do to the other side. These cancel because it's a zero pair. And that leaves x is less than 11. So, we're just going to draw a little line, and no, we don't have to number all of them. We're just going to put right in the middle 11. Okay, until you get good at recognizing this, I would highly recommend that you put a number on this side that's less than 11, like maybe -1, and a number on this side that's bigger than 11, so maybe 15, so you can understand how this works. So this says x is less than 11. Well, we know our dot is open. Now the question is, which way does our arrow go? So x is less than 11. Well, is it -1 or 15? Well, -1 is less than 11, so our graph is going to go that way. So I have a little highlighter so you can see it better. So we would go this way, because that would include all numbers that are less than 11. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, all the way for infinity. Okay, so let's move on to the next one. Next we have x minus 3 is less than or equal to 1. Okay, well, we're going to do the inverse of minus 3, which would be plus 3. And what we do to one side, we do to the other. These cancel because they're zero pairs. So now we have x is less than or equal to 1. Well, 1 plus 3 is 4. Again, draw our little line, put a little thing here, put 4. we'll put a number less than 4, which is, say, how about negative 3 and 6. We know that it has a line here, which means equal to, so we're going to include the 4. So we are going to have a circle there, closed circle, and it says x is less than or equal to 4. Well, which one's less than 4? That would be negative 3. So in this case, we would go this way. Again, I'll get a highlighter so you can see it, and we are going this way. Okay, let's move on down, and now this time we have 2x is greater than or equal to 6. Well, I know in my class we've talked about this numerous times. Anytime we have a number touching a variable like this, this means multiply. And the opposite of multiply is divide. And you always divide the coefficient, which is touching the variable, the number touching the variable. So we're going to divide by 2 to both sides. These cancel, which leaves x is greater than or equal to 6 divided by 2 is 3. So, draw our line. We know this, we're going to have a closed dot. Okay. A number less than 3 is negative 1. Number more than 3 is 5. So if I read this again, x is greater than or equal to 3. Well, which one's greater than 3? That is correct, the 5. So our arrow would go that way. So here we go. Perfect. Alright, our last one is x over 3 is less than 4. Well, anytime we see it like this, guys, I know you've heard me say it a million times, fractions are division. So this means division. And anytime we're dividing, we do the opposite, which is multiply. And we multiply by the denominator to both sides. So our denominator is 3, so we'll do 3 there and 3 there. This cancels and leaves x is less than 4 times 3 is 12. So we'll draw our line. We'll put 12. How about we put negative 3 and 20? We have an open dot. Well, it says x is less than 12. Well, is negative 3 or 20 less than 12? That is correct. Negative 3. Again, I'll use the highlighter so you can see which way you should be going. There you go. So that is how you graph inequalities. In this case, we solved first and then we graphed. Sometimes you might just have to graph the inequality, so you'll already have it just like this. Sometimes you might actually have to solve and then get to the inequality. If you have any more questions after practicing and doing your check for understanding, please set up for a workshop. Otherwise, good luck.